I just got out the shower. I need to do something with my hair. Probably have the worst part in the back. I don't know. I can't see back there, so I tend to care less since I can't see the back of my head. For some reason, out of sight, out of mind. Oh, that's funny, but it's so true. It's like, does it look good from the front? Okay, we're good. Well, the back looks like a disaster, Brooke. I don't care. I can't see back there. So I don't care. Oh, that's my bathing suit strap. The birds are so pretty. They're flying around my car. Oh God. Oh God. Are we for real right now? Oh, I sworny. Hey, I see one. I'm out. I don't know where they go. They just disappear. They grow legs and they just walk away. All right, so first of all, that's the tightest I've ever done that. I wanted to see if I can like make it like curlier, you know. I'm in a lot of pain this morning. Just getting into the shower was a whole conundrum, okay? Might all, so I don't murder anybody. We need water. I'm completely out of water in here. It's already 80 degrees, so if I don't get it now, it'll be too hot to drink. I usually have a basket, but since my car is getting repossessed, I don't have the basket. I got I mean, I literally can't even step out of my truck. It's too early. It's too early for people's shenanigans. Where's my toothbrush? We brushed our teeth last night and we threw it in a bottle, didn't we? These are still clean. The door. It's in the door. I'm just gonna rinse it again. Oh. I cannot believe something bit me on my face. Spit on the ground in front of the cops. That water is hot as AF because it's been on the back of the truck. Sometimes these Walmart water bottles ain't worth a damn. You gotta be careful. I put on face cream before I came on camera. I'm wondering if my hair being this tight and these, like, I forgot what they're called. Is it twist? I think it's twist. Sorry. Good morning. Is it a good morning without me snotting everywhere? It's not very good morning without me. I guess it's my sidekick now. I guess I have a sidekick. It's official. This is Britt. This is Brooks Zit. Britt. Ah, I need to make him a little costume. Maybe draw him a top hat, you know? He's so big. He's like a Mr. Potato Head on the side of my face. Opportunities are endless. We can put legs on him. We can turn him into a butterfly. I have a guest star today. Britt. Well, I needed to get some sun on my face. I've been wearing foundation too much since I got back. So I guess we're going to raw dog it today. We're going to raw dog life with a raw face. I'm joking. I'm going to put on some eyebrows. I can't be walking around without my eyebrows on now. Typical grandma. Let me put my eyebrows on. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I'm going to put my eyebrows on. But I want to leave my face alone because it doesn't look well. It does not look well at all. I mean, the swelling has went down. So maybe that's a good sign. Hold on, let me Google something. Let's ask the goo. How long can it take a bug bite on the face to... How long can it take a bug bite on the face to heal? Probably depends on what the flip bites you. Come on, man. I'm in the middle of the city. Don't be doing this shit. What do I pay for? What do I pay for? I swear to God. I'm just gonna... I swear to God, one day I'm going to consolidate everything into one phone plan with like fucking 15 lines. I'm not even exaggerating in the slightest. This gets so old. What if my life depended on it? What if I needed to call somebody? What if I needed a 911? How long should it take a bug bite on the face to heal? I swear to God, I'm throwing both out the window. I'm done with you bitches. You are not my friends. 3 to 7 days. Most bug bites on the face, like mosquito bites, should heal within a few days, typically 3 to 7. The itching and redness will usually subside within a few days, but some swelling may last for up to a week. I'm wondering if it was a mosquito. Something clearly was snacking on me. I was clearly a snack for something. So that's non-negotiable. It's definitely a bug bite. I've been in the woods. I be fighting for my life out there against, like, I don't know, 30 different species of bugs and animals. So something definitely bit me. It's going through a healing stage. It looks better than yesterday. But I see like a pus pocket under the skin. I'm wondering if I irritated it by putting on retinol. Probably. It's pretty, what's the word? That's, retinol is no light skincare. It's pretty heavy stuff. And I have pure retinol. So that's the strongest form that you can get. So it probably irritated it because I'm an idiot. Oh, shit. Flies. You can be bit by a fly. That horse fly was in here. Remember I told y'all the other day that I had a horse fly that was trapped between my window cover and my windshield, and I heard him fighting for his life all night, and I had to pull it down and let him out, and he wouldn't fly out the window. Well, I got so tired trying to get him out the car after like 2 hours that I literally gave up and went to bed. I'm wondering if that's what bit me. I forgot I had that in here. It also says some insects like mosquitoes cause relatively short-lived reactions, while others like ticks and certain flies may cause longer or more severe reactions. I get bit by mosquitoes on a daily basis. I don't even scratch them at this point because I know the more you scratch it, the more irritated it's going to get, the more it's going to fester. So I'm such a champ with the mosquitoes that I know they're attacking me. I might slap them, but then I leave the spot alone. This is different. This didn't itch. It was just sore, like something bit me. But it swelled up different than a mosquito bite. If the bite area becomes very painful or the pain lasts for more than a few hours when you're supposed to seek medical advice, the swelling is actually went down and it does not hurt like it did yesterday. Yesterday, if I touched my face, I could not. It hurt to touch my face. Today, the swellings went down. So whatever bit me, it's in the healing stages. It's just... So if you develop symptoms like a fever, body aches, diarrhea within days or weeks of the bite, then you definitely need to go to the ER. You got something more going on from the bite. And you can get all kinds of shit from these animals out here. I wonder what kind of diseases can a horsefly give you if they bite you? Oh, I'm like, oh, my skin's crawling now. Rabbit fever? What the fuck? I can't. Cut it out. While generally not a major disease carrier, horseflies can transmit a few diseases, most notably rabbit fever. How do you say that? Tularemia? Tularemia. I think that's how it's pronounced. In rare cases, they might also transmit anthrax or Lola worm. The tularemia is a bacterial disease that can cause fever, chills, swollen lymph glands, and a skin ulcer at the bite site. What does that look like? While more common animals, horseflies can transmit diseases to animals. Lola worm, or is it Lolo? A worm is transmitted by horseflies in certain regions and can cause eye irritation and other symptoms. Oh shit, and pus. Horsefly bites can become infected with bacteria leading to redness, swelling, and pus. Y'all, I'm wondering now if that's a horsefly bite. Hold on, let me look at pictures. Fuck. Oh God, these things look so bad. Please God, no. I mean, it could be. It actually looks very similar, which is crazy. Damn it. Damn. You know, it's so weird because, go back. It's so... I'm trying to zoom in on a picture, and every time I do, it's so weird because it actually looks very similar to what I have on my face. Very similar. It's a red spot with like this pus sac in the middle of it. Maybe I'm just tripping. We're going to watch it, but the good news is that the swelling's gone down, the redness is going away. It's not as, I can touch my face today. It's still sore, but it's not as bad as it was yesterday. So it's in the healing stage. Whether it's a zit or a horsefly bite, I didn't even know that you could get bit by those things, but apparently they can fuck you up. This woman got bit by one, and as you can see, her entire leg is not well, honey. That shit probably has to be lacerated and pushed out, right? I don't know. Lanced, is that what they call it? Lacerate? could be it. This is it. What was that other thing? Lola worm? I want to know what that is. Low worm. Oh, God, no! I don't want to know. Oh, no. How does it work? Okay. So the horsefly takes a blood meal. Larvae enter the bite wound. Oh. It's a whole cycle of ringworm in the body from horseflies. Hold on. It's a parasite that can live in human tissue for 17 years. So this Lola worm is spread. You're infected when a fly bites your skin. So it's called the African eyeworm, and it's primarily found outside of the U.S. Oh, wow. They had one case of this diagnosed in North Carolina recently, in Winston-Salem. We typically see it in Africa, but not necessarily, apparently. There was one case diagnosed in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. She came from Guinea, but still. Girl. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Now I'm worried. I do. I think that, I think it'll be fine. It's gonna have to be fine, because otherwise, oh well. What am I supposed to do? For rizzles, what am I supposed to do? Can't do nothing about it. Oh. Yeah, heathen. Brush my teeth, my mouth feels better. I need some kind of caffeine. Damn it. Why does everything have to fall apart all at once? Why, baby Jesus? I really like this chocolate color from Hard Candy. And I think this was like $3. Damn it, I did the same thing. Because I can't see. Y'all know what else degenerate show that I was on this weekend? Love After Lockup. Oh my God, I forgot that even existed. I haven't seen that since I lived in a house. That is another one. It's like, what are these people doing? None of these people are good for each other. All of them should not be dating in any capacity. All of them are carrying around their ulterior motives, which they express to the show. This is a show about inmates that meet some civilian that they start to date while they're in prison. And then, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? It's crazy. But apparently there's like new seasons and stuff, or like shit that I haven't seen because it came out and started in like 2012 or something. And yeah, I went down memory lane because I was like, this is crazy. I forgot this even existed. It was insane. Like, who goes to the DOC to find a husband or a wife? Like, you've literally got some problems with control, and seriously, like, it's crazy because, hold on one second. Hold that thought, because I'm pretty sure. So there was one couple on there. I knew I took screenshots because I was like, this is so crazy. I got to talk about this. There was one couple on there. This couple. Do y'all remember these people? This creep and this girl. I can't remember her name or his name, but they were on 90 Day Fiance. So, as you can see, there's a huge age gap. Somebody said, man, this guy is a creep. He totally targeted this. Hold on. Let me start over. Man, this guy's a creep. He totally targeted this woman because she's of lower education and lesser prospects. So she'd have to depend on him and cling to him and make him feel important. She's definitely not right for him in general, but I have more issues with how petty he is towards her than with her. So pretty much he was like 60, 70 years old, and he goes to the prison system to find a pen pal, and they start communicating through the mail, and this blooms into a passionate love story. This blooms into a sugar daddy, sugar baby type of situation. She gets out of prison. She's got 3 kids, and she wants to see her kids, and he's mad that she's on the phone with her kids. They argue nonstop. It's so crazy. It's a perfect example of people that should not be dating or around each other. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. All he's concerned about on her. First of all, did I mention that she served 10 years in prison? Let me tell you something. The day that you leave prison, you are riddled with anxiety. You have every single emotion that you can think of flowing through you, and you're actually overstimulated to the point that your body is tingling. It's almost like you're vibrating because it's too much to handle at one time. He's over here getting drunk on wine, trying to shack up with her, and she hasn't touched a cell phone, touched a real toilet, touched a real stove, looked in a refrigerator for damn 10 years. She ain't even wore street clothes, nor does she remember how to tie her shoes, probably. She ain't done shit in 10 years, and all he's concerned about is getting fucking laid. It's crazy. The whole show is crazy. And she's trying to talk to her kids, and he gets his panties in a bunch. It's crazy. It's crazy. Listen. It's crazy. The whole show. It's just, what are they thinking all the time? What were you thinking? Yeah, of course it doesn't work out between them, by the way. Because he's looking for a sex object, and she's trying to get her shit on track. I think she needed to, get a driver's license, get a car. And she's got kids, so she needs her own place. And this creep is trying to do what creeps do. Crazy show. It's unbelievably, insane, actually. I guess a lot of those people deserve each other because that's what they signed up for. But the level of toxic is just astounding. I don't think I've seen a singular episode of any couple that should have been together. Every single person on that show is completely in they're not compatible. Not one of them couples that have ever been on that show were compatible. And that's the problem in society. Shows like that, you can look and see why people are fucking miserable in their relationships, because they don't even have the intelligence to recognize that not all of us are compatible, and they force shit when they see the red flags. They just drive past them bitches. They're like, ooh, red flag, let me go over there. You know I'm telling the truth. They're like, ooh, is that a red flag over that mountain? Let me hike up it, climb 500 million meters to that red flag. Why do they do that? Honey, you can show me a yellow flag and I might get missing. Don't play these games, because I will abracadabra about this bitch so quick your head will spin. You know what it is that people are desperate. They want human connection. They want to have somebody. They want their happily ever after. Listen, sometimes that happily ever after will be you in a damn grave. So the best thing you can do is protect yourself. Because these people out here, they wander aimlessly with their own sick motivations leading them. Adults, I just feel like, go into things realizing that relationships are not about happiness. Like, sure, you want to obtain some happiness from your relationship, but factually, they're about hard work and dedication and compromise. It takes years to build a solid foundation for a healthy relationship. Years to build the foundation. So I just think that instant gratification has gotten people to a place where they're becoming dumb, and they make poor relationship decisions based off of their instant gratification wants or needs in the moment. And they just drive by them red flags. I'm not saying I haven't. I'm just saying I don't anymore. Damn it. Okie dokie pokey. Meemaw's got her eyebrows on. This one's a little thicker. I can't do nothing about it. It got crazy, man. I'm doing the best that I can with what I got. This eyebrow stuff is breaking down on me. Breaking down. I need that, like, fluff. Oh, I broke it. Damn it. Life is just coming at me too fast, man. Too fast. Slow down. I did. I broke the tip of it off. Oh, I broke the other tip. Okay. Good. Mascara. I don't want to put anything on my face. Where's that baby wipe go? I don't want to put anything on my face because I don't want it to get worse. My hair comes out right. You know, another thing I noticed from that show, 90 Day Fiance and stuff, Love After Lockup, people try to, like, force the relationship. Like, they will literally have different objectives in the relationship and still try to force the relationship. It's like for instance, like 90 Day Fiance, they get these visas and they come here from another country to get married, right? Well, sometimes these people get here and they ain't even had the marriage or baby talk yet. He's wanting her to have a baby. She doesn't want to have a baby. That's okay. Well, you're at a crossroads where there's no compromising on that. Either you're going to have a baby or you're not. And if she doesn't want to have a baby and he does, how do you think the relationship's going to go if she has a baby just to make him happy? And how happy do you think he's going to be if she flat out refuses to have a baby? He's going to walk around freaking bitter and mad. Do you see what I'm saying? They should not be together. His objective is to settle down, get married, have children. Her objective is to move to it. That is a spider. Did you bite me? You tell me right now. Was it you? He's literally running. Ah! Ah! You son of a bitch. I bet it was you. That was a spider. A baby spider, but still a spider. He wants to settle down, have children. She doesn't want kids. You can tell that. And this couple that I'm talking about, you can tell that her objective is to come to America and like have a shot at the American dream. She's one of those girls that did like the Botox, the filler, she's 25 but looks 40 already. So she's like Jasmine 1.0. And so I guess my point is you can look at them and tell that they both have different motivations for wanting to be in this relationship. But between the two of them, neither one has enough common sense to see down the pipeline that this baby issue was going to be a major issue in their relationship. And they're both just living with blinders on. So she comes to America and then they have the talk and she's like, well, I don't want children, da 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 da. And he's like, I want you to have children, da da da. It's like, seriously though, why would you wait 2 or 3 years into a relationship to even have that fucking conversation? That's the first conversation that you have. Hi, I'm Brooke. Hi, I'm Ken. You order a glass of wine, you get a glass of water, you put your order in, and then you say, so, what are your plans for the next 5 years? What are you looking for in a partner? What's your dream when you find your partner? What's your plans? What do you want to happen? You don't wait 3 damn years to have that flipping conversation. Talk about being on 2 separate pages. Y'all in 2 different books, homie. Y'all in 2 different libraries on 2 parts of the world. Like, call me crazy, but this is why I stay single. I watch other people fuck up. I've fucked up enough to remember all my past mistakes, and I'm just like, nope, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, really though, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at some of those people on 90 Day Fiancés and see what their motives are. I actually see through a lot of them. I already know what it is. Especially when she's coming from damn Brazil and she's done had $100,000 worth of plastic surgery. She's coming here to be a star like Jasmine, like Darcy and Stacy, you know? Honey, she ain't coming here to settle down and bake you biscuits and damn bake you babies. I mean, I will say that 90 Day Fiance has a knack for finding the most toxic, dysfunctional, unstable, self-centered people on earth. Okay? There's no denying that. All of those people are egotistical, self-centered, self-motivated. Yeah. Crazy show. But that happens a lot in society. 2 people get into a relationship and they're both on different tracks. The girl, I don't know, hypothetical, she wants to focus on her career. The guy wants her to settle down, or vice versa. She's ready to settle down and he's not. You know, when you come to a point in a relationship like that, the best thing to do is actually separate. Okay? It gives time and space for people to think and to fully take in the magnitude of the problem. Ignoring it is going to lead to the destruction completely of the relationship. And people who are on two separate pages like that actually don't need to be together at all. It's a recipe for fucking disaster. You know, let me do a hypothetical story. Let's say two young people meet. Two kids, I guess they are if they're 25 in comparison to me. Two young people meet. She wants to settle down and have children. She wants him to commit. Well, he still wants to do what he wants to do, and he doesn't want to commit, but he wants to get laid every so often. So he jumps into this relationship with this girl. They move in together. She's pressuring him to pop the question after a year or two. He doesn't want to do it. They have all of this relationship issues. She's always blowing him up when he's out with his friends. He can't get a breather. She's always up his ass. And he doesn't want to commit at this point because he's worried if he commits, then she's going to dig her toes in and become even more obsessive and controlling, and he'll completely lose power of his life. But he still wants to get laid, so he strings her along for another 3 years. And after 5 years of waiting on him to propose, he finally knocks her up in an attempt to keep her around, so then he has a baby with her. I mean, am I lying? Am I lying here? Is this not the scenario for like a lot of relationships out here and situationships? They turn into, they started dating and now this is a whole full-blown situationship because he doesn't want to commit, and she should have realized at the very fucking start that he wasn't gonna marry. All of this problem, this baby being brought in, this fictional baby being brought into the world by this stork. Now this poor baby's in the crossfire of these two unstable people's lives. And you know, there's probably a logical explanation as to why they both clearly have attachment issues. Because that's what this dynamic would stem from. He's not willing to commit because he has attachment issues of some sort, probably avoidant attachment, probably from trauma. And she is clingy to the point that she's clingy because she is insecure, which is an attachment issue. It's also an identity, self-esteem issue, self-worth issue. These things are pretty simple. These relationship problems, what I be seeing out here, it's pretty basic psychology why these people do what they do. It's just crazy that 90 Day Fiancé has become this huge international show around the world. I mean, millions of people tune in to watch it. I see why, because it's crazy. It's crazy. And all of it could be prevented if a little bird just stepped in and was like, hey, let me whisper in your ear. I guess they need it to be exciting for views, right? Yeah, you see some pretty wild shit on there. Speaking of Darcy and Stacy, what the flip happened to them? They were beautiful women before they started turning into the crazy Siamese cat twins. I mean, they have effed themselves up beyond recognition. They'll never be able, I mean, what they've done to themselves is irreversible. They look insane. They look insane. I don't know how they have family that loves them and they walk around looking like that. I mean, their mental health problems are on full flipping display. I mean, I just don't understand. I don't. I saw a short with one of them in there. I think it was Darcy. I'm scared to even go look at what they look like right now because the picture that I saw was from like a year and a half ago, and somebody was in the comments saying that they had just got back from a different country getting more plastic surgery. I don't know what's, clearly one of them's a lot worse off than the other one. They're both not well, in my opinion. Both extremely immature, self-centered, insecure as fuck. I don't know, man. I don't understand. This is loose and I need to fix it, and I'm scared it's going to affect the way that my hair comes out. Damn it, Bobby. Why does everything gotta be difficult? Maybe that'll be a little better. Yeah, they're crazy. I wonder if that might all make me feel better. I hope so. Yeah, I think a lot of people that get together, probably, I don't know, I'd say, I don't know, I'd say the majority of people are not compatible. That's the crazy thing. And they just jumping in relationships anyways. I know immediately if I can deal with somebody. That's what it boils down to. Can I deal with somebody? Because that's what it is for me. I dislike people so much that, like, I literally have to deal with somebody when I'm dating them, you know. That's what I mean. It feels like a task. That's how much I enjoy being alone. I really do. That's how much I enjoy being alone. Being around someone feels like a task. It feels like an errand. It feels like I have to force it. Probably because I haven't met many good people. Can we talk about this church shooting? Because I don't know exactly what happened in Michigan. Was it Michigan or Missouri? I found it interesting that they took that SOB completely out right away. There was no questions about it. They hit him with a car and then they shot him. That's the kind of church I want to go to. We don't just preach about the Lord here. We'll send you to meet your maker. F around and find out in this congregation. You know what I mean? They hit him with a car. How gangster is that? He come into the church trying to kill people. You can hear the gunshots. It's terrifying. First of all, let's talk about your survival skills. Okay, there was a lot of people in that video that was lagging. Y'all was lagging. When we hear gunshots, we run. Okay, we run. Not towards them, but away from them. Yes, this is where we are in society. I have to be very specific. Well, Brooke said to run when I heard gunshots, so I ran towards them. No. So it was a man. It was in Michigan yesterday. While the congregation was meeting, people are in church. There's actually internal surveillance footage from the church, and you can see that people are not quite sure if it's gunshots. Better safe than sorry. You would, seriously though, would you rather look like an idiot in front of a bunch of people because you assumed those were gunshots and you just jumped to the floor, or would you rather not react and they actually be gunshots and bullets be coming in your direction and you fail to take action to save your own life? Screw what people think. And most often than not, your gut intuition is exactly, you already know what's going on. Sorry, I'm waiting on the internet. Oh, then it comes up. Gotta embarrass me. I swear to God. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. So, the man began firing. Y'all, I'm so sorry. The man began firing as he approached the church. It looks like someone, a parishioner, struck the gunman with his vehicle as the gunman shot the vehicle repeatedly. First of all, I don't know who this man was. I know it was a man. I know it was a man. I don't know who this pawpaw was, but good for him. He literally hit the gunman as he noticed that the gunman was walking on church property shooting at the congregation. So this is happening on the outside of the building. Gunman shows up. He's firing at people. This man that went to the church goes to run him over, and the gunman starts firing on his vehicle. At least 2 other staff members, who, by the way, were actually paid security for the church. How sad, though. I was thinking about that. How sad that we need to pay for private security to go to church, because so many mass shootings are so common on Sundays now at churches that these poor people can't even feel safe as they worship the Lord. So this was private security that actually pulled firearms on church property and shot this guy dead. It was 2 of them. The shooting happened at 11 a.m. in Wayne, a city it's only about 17,000 people, and it's located 25 miles west of Detroit. The person who was shot in the leg was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Nobody else was hurt. So first of all, if it was not for the congregation, the parish of the church, this might have went in a whole nother damn direction. It was only because these people saw him and they took action and they physically hit his ass with a freaking car, and then they shot his ass dead. Good for them. Good for them. We need more of this. So a church member ran the suspect over with his pickup truck. I told you it was a man. Giving security staff time to shoot him. We are grateful for the heroic actions of our church staff members who undoubtedly saved many lives and prevented a large-scale mass shooting. Around 150 people were inside of the church at the time. I want to go to church with these people. Who is he, though? He's identified. Police identified Michigan church shooter suspect as local man who attended with his mother. So he had been to that church with his mom before. A man was shot dead by a security guard on Sunday after he opened fire outside of a Michigan church during a service. He has been identified as a 31-year-old man who attended the church with his mother. Brian Anthony Browning from Michigan was armed with an AR-15 style assault rifle with more than a dozen magazines of ammunition and a semi-automatic handgun with an extended magazine and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. The suspect's mother is a member of the church, in which he has attended church services 2 or 3 times over the course of the last year. Oh, God. They're blaming this on a mental health problem. Bullshit. Bullshit. They're saying he's been having mental health crises, and this is why he was going to kill all them good Christian people. There have been no details on the positive motive for the Really? 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 Put me in, coach! Put me in! There's no motive. No motive. You know, religion and his failed life wouldn't have anything to do with this. Or maybe his mother. I mean... Oh, wow, we're going to blame it on the Middle East. That's what they're going with, folks. Listen, there have been no details on the possible motive for the shooting, but police pointed out that there was no evidence to suggest it was linked to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. Good, good. It's about the only thing you've done right thus far. It has been the case in recent attacks across the U.S. The suspect had no previous contact with the police department or criminal history. Oh, God. Police were first called to the Cross Point Community Church in Wayne, a western suburb of Detroit, at 11:06 a.m. The reports of a white man wearing camouflage gear and a tactical vest One witness said that he was driving a silver SUV erratically in the parking lot. Minutes later, a further 911 call said the suspect fired a weapon before a parishioner driving a pickup truck hit the suspect with his vehicle. Way to go, Grandpa! Way to go! He said, not in my damn church, not in my damn community. I don't know who this guy is, but why is he not on the news? He needs an award. He just saved like lives, for real, 150 people inside the church. He didn't even make it in the church, and he was firing off rounds against the congregation in the parking lot. Grandpa needs an award. The community church senior pastor, Bobby Kelly Jr., said the churchgoer noticed the shooting was in progress and accelerated, drove towards the shooter, striking him. I wish that you could bottle up courage like that and sell it. Bravery. Bottle it up and sell it. He was run over by one of our church members who saw this happening when he was coming into church. The church security team was alerted by gunfire and reacted quickly to engage the suspect outside the main entrance doors of the church. The front doors were locked, and a member of the security team shot and killed the suspect. One member of the security team was shot twice in the leg, and he was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. He also had to undergo surgery Sunday night. Bullets were fired into the church, but no one else was injured during the shooting, thank God. Officers gave life-saving treatment to the suspect, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. Good. That's what he deserves. He can go meet his maker, and then he can go meet his new keeper. Lord have mercy. You know, he lived at home with his mama. What be up with these parents? Police searched his home and found even more weapons, including rifles, semi-automatic handguns, and a large amount of ammunition. People are like, why would he target a place of worship? I'm gonna start handing out helmets. It's not rocket science. There's only actually one reason that he would target a place of worship. There's Pawpaw's Ford that ran the guy over. I love it. I love it. I mean, really, it just tickles my fancy. I can't think of anything better than this 31-year-old asshole thinking he's going to go shoot up this church, and Grandpa comes out of nowhere being a little baddie, taking his ass out. I mean, it's just comic genius. And then the security guy jumps out the bushes and like, pop, pop. Like, it's so good. It's so good. Oh, you thought you was going to murder all them old people, didn't you? Oh, one for the boomers. One for the boomers. A point goes to the boomers. Okay? I love it. I love it. Grandpa said, not in my damn community. Brian Anthony Browning, mental health history. You ain't worth a damn. I swear to God. Brian Anthony. See, now I done damn flipping forgot. Brownings. Mental health issues. Yeah, I mean, he went to church with his mama at this location, and then he goes back to try to murder these good people. It sounds like he didn't like God. It sounds like he was rebelling. It sounds like he had some issues. But we'll just blame it on mental health issues. No. It's crazy. I wonder if it's people's ego that gets in the way of them admitting that they have a problem. If it's just that. There's a picture. Usual suspect. They said he may have been suffering from a mental health crisis. I got more mental health problems than I do dollars. There is no excuse for this. It's just so good that Grandpa come out of nowhere. Oh, God. We are so grateful for the heroic actions of the church staff members who undoubtedly saved lives and prevented a large-scale mass shooting. Amen. Can we give Grandpa the key to the city? Because he deserves it. It's just so good. I wish there was surveillance footage of the outside of the church. If there is, it hasn't been shown yet. You can see the congregation inside of the church. Half of the people run survival instincts, situational awareness. The other half just sit there. And then finally, church staff is like, you guys need to come with us. Like, come on, get up. Like, you can hear the staff saying, run. They're firing outside. I mean, it's like a social experiment. That surveillance footage from inside of the church shows you how people react, or the lack thereof reaction, from a panic. Half of the church flees for their lives. The other half just sits there. I mean, it's concerning. I think people live in a bubble. I think that they think that life is a fucking joke. I think they fail to realize that they only get one. It makes me concerned seriously for my children, because I don't want them to be that second half of the group. I want them to be in the first half that immediately, instinctively ran for their flipping life. I want them to be the grandpa of the story. I want them to be the grandpa of the story, you know? When they see something, say something, and do something. It's crazy that those people sat there. They had to be forcibly, verbally removed. They're like, get up, come on, we can't stay here. You can hear the staff of the church pleading with these people to get out of the damn pews and run, which is crazy because you can hear the gunshots. I guess some of them people were so old, they were like, well, if this is how I'm going, at least I'm in the Lord's house. At least I'm in the Lord's house, you know? I mean, I guess you get to a certain age and you ain't got no F's to give no more, you know? I get it, but still, honey. It's crazy. It reminds me of that guy that was sitting in a bar having some beers a few years ago. It's probably been about 10 years ago. He's sitting in a bar, and there's surveillance footage of this. It went viral because of his reaction. He's sitting in a bar, and this guy kicks in the front door, comes in the bar with a shotgun aimed at his face, and he's like, I'm robbing this place. And all of this is on surveillance footage, which I don't know how criminals do shit like that and just show their face, but whatever. So everybody at the bar drops what they're doing. They set their beers down, and they're handing over all of their shit to this guy. Well, there's one guy sitting at the end of the bar that's smoking a cigarette, and he has no F's to give. And he said, I ain't doing nothing. He said, you can shoot me right now. I ain't giving you my phone. I ain't giving you my wallet. Do you know that the robber didn't even know how to take this? He just stands there like, with a gun, and finally he leaves. It's crazy. That guy, they interviewed that guy, and yeah, he was just like, he wasn't getting my stuff. And the whole time he's sitting there drinking his beer and smoking a cigarette as the place is getting robbed. The level of calm is unfathomable. I could never. No, I'm that one that's gonna damn try to do something. I'm crazy. I'm gonna get us all accidentally killed because I'm trying to damn kick this man's ass because I'm angry now. So how dare you think you can come in here and rob this place? I got something for you in a minute, buddy. You know, like I would definitely be the one that jumps up on the bar trying to drop kick this son of a bitch. So I'm glad that I've never been in that situation because I'd probably get us all murdered because I'm trying to kill him. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Grandpa, though, saving the day at the church. You know, the security guard was shot. It seems like he had to have surgery, probably to remove the bullets in his leg, because I do believe he was shot twice. They said that he is in stable condition, and I do believe he's already been able to leave the hospital. So that's good news. There's no telling what would have happened if those people, if the community wouldn't have stepped in to save their own community. It could have been minutes to hours before the cops got there. We don't know. We saw Uvalde. They were on scene as people were still getting, children were still getting murdered. So we never know nowadays how these things are going to go once the cops do show up. We don't know how long it's going to take them to get there. We don't know how long it's going to take them to set up some kind of plan to get in there and help people. We need to take care of our own communities. And when we see shit like that going down, we need to be on high alert and try to get help. I don't know who this grandpa is, but it's clearly some man that don't play that shit. He does not play that shit. Where the truck was sitting was right in front of the church too. So he like jumped a curb, went over grass, flew around trees, hopped a sidewalk, and then mowed this son of a bitch down. He was a man on a mission. It wasn't as simple as like this guy was just walking across the parking lot and then Papa just mowed him down. No. He was turning up grass to mow that ass. You know what I mean? Like, he was hopping curbs. He was not playing. He said, "How dare you come over here dressed like you're part of the military trying to mow my family down with bullets? I'll mow you down." I love it. And then, like I said, the security hops out of nowhere and like pops him. I don't know what this mother and son had going on, but given the circumstances of him trying to shoot up the church that his mother took him to, there's more to it. That is not coincidence. I'd be willing to bet his mother is overbearing, probably a helicopter parent that's disappointed that he's 31 years old, still living at home, has no girlfriend, no prospects. She doesn't have grandchildren. And all of a sudden, in the past year, she starts taking him to church. That article said he's been a few times in the past year with his mother. Not a coincidence. Yeah, I do think he probably had mental health problems. But that's no excuse for trying to kill people. A lot of people have mental health problems. And a lot of people, matter of fact, wasn't it like 20-something million that suffer from major depressive disorder? You don't see them people out here trying to do shit like this. We have got to stop using mental health. He killed his children because he was struggling with mental health. No. The evil intent. They were struggling with evil intent. How many people have mental health problems in the United States? No. They were struggling with malevolence internally, their own demons, who they really were, who they were trying to hide. The mask came off. Over 20% of U.S. adults struggle with mental health problems. Severe. You don't see those millions of people out here trying to murder people at their church. I'm telling you, there's more psychologically to this. The fact that he picked that church to shoot up is very telling. That's probably one of the few places his mother frequents with people that she probably considers friends. They don't know the motive, though. And I'm assuming a lot, but I know things that I just know things. We'll see what happens. We'll see what they say this coming week about his mental health problems and his relationship with his mother. There's more to it than just mental health problems. Oh, I wonder if they caught those Brinks suspects. I hope they get away. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm not for criminal activity. But what's more criminal? Brinks allowing one truck driver to drive that Brinks armored truck with one driver. That's all that it had. I feel like they deserve to get robbed. Let me tell you what. So if you don't know, there was 2 suspects yesterday that robbed an armored Brinks truck for $1.5 million. These 2 men, the FBI alleges that they also pulled off a different bank heist in New York where they got away with $300,000. They think it's the same suspects. Listen, I'm rooting for these people. Let me tell you why. Because the reason that Brinks got robbed for $1.5 million is because they failed to go by policy and procedure. Allegedly, there was only one person driving that Brinks armored truck, and there's supposed to be multiple people on that truck, especially when there's over $1 million on it. So Brinks failed to have the proper security for their company when they're supposed to be a secure financial company. You know, like, that's literally their job, is to secure this money and to transport it. And they failed to do that. That's their damn fault that they got robbed. They're idiots. And, you know, it's crazy because this is like some 90s crime stuff that's starting to come back around. I've seen so many jewelry heists, robberies, financial institutions being robbed. It's like the crimes of the 80s and 90s are coming back around, which is weird because you would think that because of surveillance and technology that people would be scared to implement these plans and put them into action. And actually, I will say that I'm glad that they didn't harm anybody. That tells me a lot about them intrinsically. They could have killed that armed security guard. They took his gun. They took his gun and they fled. And they could have shot and killed him. I mean, I think if it was me and I was that far in and I was doing a bank heist like that, oh, I'm going to kill him. Because I can't leave any witnesses. I mean, do you think it's going to matter when we go to court if they catch me? I stole $1.5 million. They're gonna burn my ass at the stake just like they would if I killed somebody. So at that point, you're already so far into such felonious crimes, you might as well kill the son of a bitch. I mean, I know it sounds harsh, but like, and I would never rob a bank, but like, if we're dreaming, and if I was in that situation, I would have probably killed the guy. So it's kind of cool that they didn't. Brinks robbery. And hell, I'm not for larceny, robbery. I've never stolen in my life. I don't support that behavior. But to a certain extent, this is like Luigi Mangoni for me. When everybody was excited about him killing Brian Thompson, I was not. I think that it was wrong. But this is a little different. This is kind of like Robin Hood over here. If you're dumb enough to not have security for what is supposed to be a secured company, you kind of deserve to get robbed. It's like a sugar daddy going to the Philippines to find him a little Filipino girl, and then he gets her over here and she doesn't want to conform to anything he wants her to do. It's like, sir, you were looking to use and abuse a woman for her beauty. If she plays your ass, you deserve that. Y'all deserve each other because y'all are doing nefarious shit with dirty hands. You're going into endeavors with dirty hands. It's kind of the same thing. I'm not condoning this behavior. I think that, you know, this is wrong. But at this point, they're so far in, I hope they do get away. It's like modern day DB Cooper without the parachute and the plane. Let's see here. So this happened in Philadelphia. And as I said, they think that this is linked to a different bank robbery where they got away with $300,000 in New York. Sorry, I just don't want this to be so tight that it's like, there we go. Let's see here. $1.5 million stolen. Armed suspects sought after Brinks armed robbery. This happened in Port Richmond at 8 a.m. on Saturday. Damn, that's the perfect time. I mean, it really is. You wouldn't think that anybody would be up that early to commit a robbery on a Saturday. You would think that it would be like a Monday or a Friday thing when you know that the truck is going to be fully stocked with money. So the fact that they hit it on a Saturday morning was extremely smart. The driver operating the Brinks armored truck made a stop at Home Depot at the 3700 block of East Thompson Street when he was approached by 2 armed men wearing all black and ski masks. They stole the driver's gun and at least $1.5 million in cash. How do you just walk out with that much money? It's got to be so flippin' heavy. The driver was the only one in the truck. The culprits were seen fleeing in a black Hyundai West on East Thompson. They also think that they robbed this Queens, New York Brinks truck back on June 2nd. The driver and the armed guard were both robbed of a gun and $300,000 in cash by 2 armed men. You know, the crazy thing is that this Brinks Pennsylvania incident actually went a lot smoother than their first incident. That's scary in a lot of ways because they're probably going to do this again. They've gotten by with this twice now, and this last incident went even smoother than the first incident. That might be enough motivation for them to try this again, and they'll probably get caught doing this time after time. And, you know, the fact that they know that they fled in a Hyundai Elantra, they might be able to figure out where that car come from video surveillance around the city. I don't know. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that there was only one person manning that entire unit with $1.5 million. That really goes to show that all systems are down. Even Brinks apparently has employee issues, because that truck, with that amount of money, I would assume that 2 or 3 people, if not 4, would be manning that vehicle at all times. There's supposed to be one person driving, one person in the interior making. They have like fucking windows in them so that they can look out and make sure that nobody's standing out there to rob them. You can't really keep an eye on the circumference of the car when it's just you. You're trying to fill out paperwork. You're trying to make sure. I'm assuming there's paperwork to pick up and deposit this money through Brinks. It's just too much for one person, and you don't have as much security with just one person. I wonder, they'll probably try to do this again. They're so good at it, apparently. I mean, they've left no traces behind. The Hyundai Elantra is literally the only piece of evidence that we have, and there's millions of those in the city. So unless they find a way to track that car, somebody calls in with a tip, one of these guys, you know, starts spending money frivolously, which draws attention. And that's another thing. Where are they going to put this money? I hope they're burying it so when they get out of jail, they can go back and dig it up, because that's what I would be doing. Oh, God, I'd have $100,000 over here, $100,000 over there, $100,000 over there. Not even joking. You better bury that shit in the ground. You know what works good? Plastic bags and American Eagle bags. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. Like, I'm not playing. 100%. I hope they're burying money right now, because they're going to get busted if they do this again. And there's a good chance that they're going to get busted anyways, because the FBI and everybody is on this case now. They probably have local, state, and federal law enforcement on this, looking for these guys. They are America's most wanted right now because they've stolen $1.8 million, allegedly. I wonder how they'll get busted, and I hope that they're making the right moves with that money now. I don't know why I want them to stay free. You know why? Because I grew up on Point Break. That's why. That's why. I'm like, God, I hope they make it. I hope they're free. I hope they're in Cancun right now, you know? Like, damn. I hope they got a ticket to damn Indonesia. That's what they should do. Bury the money, invest less than $4,000 at like maybe 2 or 3 different banks that they have access to money. Slowly make deposits over, I don't know, the next 6 to 9 months while they work a regular job. Nothing over $5,000. Buy some tickets and get the fuck out of here. I sure as hell wouldn't stay. Oh, here's the Brinks robbery FBI website that they put up this morning. Listen, I'm telling you, half of this is Brinks' fault. They did it to themselves, you know. And if you just got robbed for $300,000 in New York on June the 2nd, would you not up your security knowing that there's a potential for another robbery because those people were never caught? No, Brinks then decides to just put one man manning the truck with $1.5 million. Like, I mean, for real, they're somewhat responsible for this. And another thing, how many times do we see these armed robberies take place with these armored trucks and it's an inside job? I can think of like 5 or 6 of them off the top of my head. They were all inside jobs with people who had either previously worked for the security company like Brinks, or they currently worked for the company like Brinks, and it was all inside job that led to these trucks, these armored trucks, all of the money being stolen off of them. So that's another potential, is that these men actually, these 2 suspects actually have some kind of ties to the company, or maybe have a family member that works for the company that released information about how to commit these robberies. There's no way in hell that there was just 2 guys with full black outfits and ski masks that just saw this armored truck roll up to Home Depot and decided to just rob it. The chances of that are slim to none. This was planned, this was organized, just like the New York robbery. And this time, they got $1.2 million more than they did last time. And it went smoother. Somehow they must have knew that there was only one man in that truck with $1.5 million. I don't know. It's, you know, like I said, a lot of the times these are inside jobs. So maybe they'll be able to find the suspects based off of that. They can find a link, some kind of information. I mean, they absolutely deserve to be arrested. But this is kind of like one of them D.B. Cooper things. If you outsmart them, you deserve your prize, in my opinion. You know, these places like Brinks, these financial institutions, all that money will be covered through their insurance. So it's not like they're hurting for anything. And more often than not, they hurt people more than they help people. Financial institutions are evil. They keep people poor. They disproportionately harm poorer communities. Banks are evil. They're not your friend. You're better off burying your damn money in the ground. At least you'll have access to it for free. But for real, I'm kind of on a D.B. Cooper minded level on this. You know, it's wrong to steal. It's wrong to steal in any sense, but at the same time, if these criminals are smart enough to outsmart the FBI, state, local, federal agencies, and Brinks is, in my opinion, responsible for the lack of security within their own company, if they get away, they get away. Good for them, you know? I mean, they'll go down in history as people the FBI never caught because they were too dumb. I don't know. I guess a little part of me wants them to get away like everybody wanted Luigi Mangoni to get away, you know? Good for them. I just hope that nobody gets hurt or ends up dead. And like I said, they'll probably continue to do this. So Brinks has had this this is actually an FBI history. I thought this was on the robbery from yesterday, and as it just so turns out, This is a crime from 1950. Listen to this. Um, on the evening of January 17th, 1950, employees of the security firm at Brinks Incorporated in Boston, Massachusetts were closing for the day, returning stacks of undelivered cash, checks, and other material to the company's safe on the second floor. Shortly before 7:30 p.m., they were surprised by 5 men, heavily disguised, quiet as mice, wearing gloves to avoid leaving fingerprints and soft shoes to muffle noise. The thieves quickly bound the employees and began hauling away all of the loot. Within minutes, they had stolen more than $1.2 million in cash and another $1.5 million in checks and other securities, making it the largest robbery in U.S. history at the time. As the robbers sped away from the scene, a Brinks employee telephoned the Boston Police Department. Minutes later, police arrived at the Brinks building and special agents of the FBI quickly joined in the investigation. At the outset, very few facts were available to investigators. From interviews with the 5 employees whom the criminals had confronted, it was learned that between 5 and 7 robbers had entered the building. All of them wore Navy-type pea coats, gloves, and chaps. Each robber's face was completely concealed behind a Halloween-type mask. I wonder if this is what inspired the movie Point Break. Remember they had on like the Nixon mask and stuff in Point Break? To muffle their footsteps, one of the gang wore crepe-soled shoes, and the other ones wore rubbers. The robbers did little talking. They moved with a studied precision, which suggested that the crime had been carefully planned and rehearsed in the preceding months. Somehow the criminals had opened at least 3, possibly 4 locked doors to gain entrance to the second floor of Brinks, where the 5 employees were engaged in their nightly chores of checking and storing the money collected from Brinks customers that day. All 5 employees had been forced at gunpoint to lie face down on the floor. Their hands were tied behind their backs, and adhesive tape was placed over their mouths. During this operation, one of the employees had lost his glasses. They later could not be found on the Brinks premises. Why would you take somebody's glasses? As the loot was being placed in bags and stacked between the second and third floors leading to the Prince Street entrance, a buzzer sounded. The robbers removed the adhesive tape from the mouth of one of the employees and learned that the buzzer signified that someone wanted to enter the vault area. The person ringing the buzzer was a garage attendee. 2 of the gang members moved towards the door to capture him, but seeing the garage attendee walk past, apparently unaware that the robbery was being committed, they did not pursue him. There were rope and adhesive tape used to bind and gag the employees, and a chauffeur cap that one of the robbers had left at the crime scene. The FBI further learned that 4 revolvers had been taken by the gang. This is eerily similar to the current robberies. Their guns were taken. They were demanded to get on the ground. The descriptions and serial numbers of these weapons were carefully noted since they might prove vulnerable link to the men responsible for the crime. A systematic check of current and past Brink employees was undertaken. Personnel of the 3-story building housing the Brinks offices were questioned. So they questioned people that work for Brinks. Inquiries were made concerning salesmen, messengers, and others who had called the Brinks and might know the physical layout as well as the operational procedures. An immediate effort was also made to obtain descriptive data concerning the missing cash and securities. Brinks customers were contacted for information regarding the packaging and shipping materials they used. All identifying marks placed on currency and securities by the customers were noted, and appropriate stops were placed at Brink institutions across the nation. They were offering $100,000 reward for this in 1950. I bet that was life-changing money. That's life-changing money today. That's like $1 million back then, wasn't it? It would have felt like it. It would have felt like it. So a bunch of rumors start to circulate and circle in the town where this robbery took place. The FBI is just getting dead end lead after dead end lead. People are calling from California saying they think this money is at the bottom of a ravine somewhere, and just, you know, what did I say the other day? When people don't have a life, they somehow just interject themselves into other people's lives so that they can just stir the pot. I mean, some people literally just never have attention, and they interject themselves into investigations like this just to have a little bit of attention. It's crazy. All efforts to identify the gang members through the chauffeur's hat, the rope, and the adhesive tape, which had been left at the Brinks, proved unsuccessful. First of all, if that's all they had, that's not good. I mean, sure, you can match rope, you can match duct tape, but God, the thousands of different manufacturers. Now we have databases that can do that. But yeah, that sounds like all that was their leads, was the duct tape and the rope. Not good. Ooh, on February 5th of 1950, a police officer in Somerville, Massachusetts, recovered one of the 4 revolvers that had been taken by the robbers. Investigation established that this gun, together with another rusty revolver, had been found on February 4th of 1950 by a group of boys who were playing on a sandbar at the edge of the Mystic River. Shortly after these 2 guns were found, one of them was placed in a trash barrel and was taken to the city dump. The other gun was picked up by an officer and identified as having been taken during the Brinks robbery. A detailed search for additional weapons was made at the Mystic River. The results were negative. I swear to God, sometimes I read this stuff and I just... Yo, what the fuck? Bro's got on a jail jumpsuit with jail slippers. He looks like he just got out the county jail. I hope he ain't no damn escaped inmate. What the flip? Y'all see that? He has on a whole... That's a county jail, like, outfit with, like, jail slippers. Lord have mercy. What is going on? So from the size of the loot and the number of men involved, it was logical that the gang might have used a truck to carry all the money out of the Brinks. So they found a truck at a junkyard. They noticed that it had a lot of damage. A sledgehammer had also been used to smash many of the heavy parts, such as the motor. The truck pieces were concealed in fiber bags when found. Had the ground not been frozen, the person or persons who abandoned the bags probably would have attempted to bury them. The truck that they found at the dump had been reported stolen by a Ford dealer in Boston the year prior. All the efforts to identify the persons responsible for the truck theft had ended up, all the leads that went cold. The fiber bags used to conceal the pieces were identified as having been used as containers for beef bone shipment from South America to a gelatin manufacturing company in Massachusetts. What? So all of these truck parts that they think the truck that was used to help get this money, they found parts of this truck at a junkyard, and they were all in these bags, like they had been beat up, the truck had been disassembled. This is confusing. I'm sorry. Nevertheless, the finding of the truck parts was to prove a valuable break in the investigation. 2 of the participants in the bank robbery lived in that area. After the truck parts were found, additional suspicion was attached to these men. Anthony Pino. As investigations developed and thousands of leads followed to dead ends, the broad field of possible suspects gradually began to narrow. Among the early suspects was Anthony Pino, an alien who had been a principal suspect in numerous major robberies and burglaries in Massachusetts. Pino was known in the underworld as an excellent, quote, caseman, and it was said that the casings of the Brinks offices bore his trademark. So it sounds like he had a robbery MO, and that it was very similar to the pattern of the Brinks robbery, and so they had already looked at him as a suspect, and when they found these car parts, it was in the same location that he was known to live in, his neighborhood. Pino had been questioned to his whereabouts on the evening of January 17th, 1950, and he provided a good alibi. The alibi, in fact, was almost too good. Pino said that he had been home at his home in Roxbury section of Boston until approximately 7 p.m. when he walked to a nearby liquor store. He engaged in a conversation with the liquor store owner and a Boston police officer. The officer verified the meeting. The alibi was strong but not conclusive. The police officer said that he had been talking to the liquor store owner first, and then Pino arrived to later join them. The trip from the liquor store in Roxbury to the Brinks office could be made in about 15 minutes. Pino could have been at the liquor store shortly after 7:30, and still he could have participated in the robbery. I bet he went out there to talk to that cop just to form an alibi. It was the perfect scenario. He probably wanted a bottle of liquor. He was going over to the liquor store anyways, and then he sees the cop, and he's like, oh, let me go jump in this guy's face so he can say that I was here with him. And then he goes off to commit this robbery. I don't know. It's the perfect storm, though. So the liquor store owner, his name is McGinnis, something like that. He's commonly regarded as a dominant figure in the Boston underworld. McGinnis previously had been convicted of robbery and narcotics violations. No, say it ain't so. Underworld sources describe him as fully capable of planning and executing the Brinks robbery. He, too, had left his home shortly before 7 p.m. on the night of the robbery and met the Boston police officer soon thereafter. If local hoodlums were involved, it was difficult to believe that McGinnis could be as ignorant of the crime as he claimed. Neither Pino nor McGinnis was known to be the type of hoodlum who would undertake so potentially dangerous... Hold on, sorry. Two of the prime suspects, whose nerve and gun handling experience suited them for the Brinks robbery, were Joseph James O'Keefe and Stanley Albert somebody. O'Keefe and Albert reportedly had worked together on a number of occasions. Both had served prison sentences, and both were well known to the underworld figures of the East Coast. O'Keefe's reputation for nerve was legend. Reports had been received alleging that he had held up several gamblers in the Boston area and had been involved in shakedowns of bookies. Like Albert, O'Keefe was known to have associated with Pino prior to the Brinks robbery. So they're telling you how all of these guys pulled off this robbery by explaining the link between all of them. It sounds like they kind of all knew each other at some point. Both of these strong-armed suspects had been questioned by Boston authorities following the robbery. Neither had a convincing alibi. The families of O'Keefe and Albert, they resided in the vicinity of Massachusetts where the pieces of the green Ford body truck, the body of the truck was found. Their homes were searched, but no evidence linking them to the truck or the robbery was found. In April of 1950, the FBI received information indicating that part of the Brinks loot was hidden in the home of a relative of O'Keefe in Boston. It's so crazy his name's O'Keefe and he was from Boston, because remember John O'Keefe was from Boston too. He was a police officer and he was killed. The Karen Reed trial. A federal search warrant was obtained and the home was searched by agents on April 27th of 1950. Several $100s were found hidden in the houses, but it could not be identified as part of the loot. Ooh. So on June 2nd, 1950, O'Keefe and Albert left Boston by automobile for the alleged purpose of visiting the grave of Albert's brother in Missouri. Apparently, they had planned a leisure trip with the abundance of extracurricular activities. On June 12, 1950, they were arrested in Pennsylvania, and guns and clothing that were the loot from the burglaries at Kane and Pennsylvania were found in their possession. Following their arrest, a former bondsman in Boston made frequent trips to Wanda in an unsuccessful effort to secure their release on bond. Although Albert was acquitted of the charges against him in Towanda, he was removed to McKean County, Pennsylvania, to stand trial for burglary, larceny, and receiving stolen goods on October 11th of 1950. Albert was sentenced to serve from 5 to 20 years in the Western Pennsylvania Penitentiary. Even after these convictions, O'Keefe and Albert continued to seek their release. Between 1950 and 1954, the underworld occasionally rumbled with rumors that pressure was upon Boston hoodlums to contribute money for these criminals' legal fight against the charges in Pennsylvania. The names of Pino, McInnes, Jazz, and Henry Baker were frequently mentioned in these rumors, and it's said that they had been with O'Keefe on the big job. So he's in jail. The people that helped him commit these crimes are out free. That changes the dynamics for sure, because he's got dirt on people, but he's the one in jail, and they're out free, and they know that all it's going to take is him to snitch, and they're going to be right where he is. It changes the dynamics of everything. Despite the lack of evidence and witnesses upon which court proceedings could be based, as the investigation progressed, there was little doubt that O'Keefe had been one of the central figures of the Brinks robbery. Pino also was linked with the robbery, and there was every reason to suspect that O'Keefe felt that Pino was turning his back on him now, and that O'Keefe was in jail. So both O'Keefe and Albert, who was initially charged and convicted of committing this Brinks robbery back in 1950 or 1949, they both had been interviewed on several occasions concerning the Brinks robbery, but they had claimed complete ignorance, in hope that a wide breach might have developed between the two criminals who were in jail in Pennsylvania and the gang members who were enjoying the luxuries of a free life in Massachusetts. The FBI agents again visited Albert and O'Keefe behind bars. Even in their jail cells, however, they showed no respect for law enforcement. Well, at least they had some level of loyalness to them, because if that was nowadays, they would have rolled. In pursuing the underworld rumors, the FBI succeeded in identifying more probable members of the gang. gang. There was Adolf Jazz Maffei, one of the hoodlums who allegedly was being pressured to contribute money for the legal battle of O'Keefe and Albert. He had been questioned concerning his whereabouts. He was unable to provide any specific account of where he had been. Henry Baker, another veteran criminal who was rumored to be kicking it in Pennsylvania, he was rumored to have been given money to these two men for their legal defense. Sorry, the way that this is wrote. He had been released on parole in Norfolk, Massachusetts, 5 months before the robbery. He was released out of prison. At the prison colony, Baker was serving 2 concurrent terms for 4 to 10 years for breaking and entering and larceny. All of these men have a pattern of larceny, robbery. They just take whatever they want. They all have a criminal history with robbery, looting, possession of burglary tools. So all of these suspects, when the FBI would interview them and the FBI would be like, oh, where were you on the night of, January 17th, 1950. Every single one of these men, they all started their story with, oh, at 7 p.m. I went for a walk. Or at 7 p.m. I walked down to the liquor store. Or at 7 p.m. I was eating dinner with my family. And they all started their story when the FBI would say, what were you doing on the night of January 17th, 1950? They all started at 7 p.m. That was really weird, and it was one of the things that gave investigators insight into how they had gotten their story straight, because they're all starting at 7 p.m. They all have the same story, yet they were doing different things, but their story all started, their evenings all started at 7 p.m. And it was one of the FBI's analysis of the alibis offered by the suspect showed that the hour 7 p.m. on January 17th, 1950 was frequently mentioned. They smart, but they ain't that smart. You know what I mean? O'Keefe had left his hotel at 7 p.m. Pino and Baker separately decided to go out at 7 o'clock. Costa started back to the monitor terminal about 7 p.m. Other principal suspects were not able to provide a convincing account of their activities, but since the robbery had taken place between 7:10 and 7:27, it was quite possible that the gang, as well drilled as the bank robbers obviously were, would have arranged to get their story straight at the same time. I don't know what that word is. By fixing this time as close as possible to the minute at which the robbery was to begin, the robbers would have alibis to cover their activities up to the final moment. Any doubts that the Brinks gang had that the FBI was on the right track in its investigation were allayed when the federal grand jury began hearings in Boston in 1952. The FBI's jurisdiction to investigate this robbery was based upon the fact that cash checks, postal notes, and the United States money orders of the Federal Reserve Bank and the Veterans Administration District Office in Boston were included in the loot. After nearly 3 years of investigation, the government hoped that witnesses or participants who had remained mute for so long a period of time that they might find their tongues before the grand jury. Unfortunately, this proved to be an idle hope. Ten of the persons who appeared before this grand jury breathed much more easily when they learned that no indictments had been returned. 3 years later, almost to the day, these 10 men, together with another criminal, were to be indicted by the state's grand jury in Boston for the Brinks robbery. Following the federal grand jury's hearings, the FBI's intense investigation continued. The Bureau was convinced that it had identified the actual the robbers, but evidence and witnesses had to be found. While O'Keefe and Albert lingered in jail in Pennsylvania, Pino encountered difficulties of his own. Immigration issues. He was not legal. Whoa, hold on. Born in Italy in 1907, Pino was a young child when he entered the U.S., but he never became a naturalized citizen. Due to his criminal record, and the Immigration and Naturalization Services Institute proceedings in 1941 to deport him. This occurred while he was in the state prison in Charlestown, Massachusetts, serving sentences for breaking and entering with intent to commit a felony and having burglary tools in his possession. Jesus Christ. That prison term, together with Pino's conviction in March of 1928 for carnal abuse of a girl. What? Hold up. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. What is carnal abuse of a girl? Do I even want to know? It's rape. It's rape. Why they name it that? It's rape. He raped a child. Why they call it that? He's a pedophile. I'm going to call it what it is. Pino was determined to fight against deportation. And why? You're first on the list. You're raping women. You're robbing places. Absolutely not. Deport, deport, deport. In the summer of 1944, he was released from state prison and was taken into custody by immigration authorities. During the preceding year, however, he had filed a petition for pardon in hope of removing the criminal convictions from his record. In September of 1949, Pino's efforts to evade deportation met with a success. He was granted a full pardon. I just want to jump off a bridge right now. What do you mean he was granted a full pardon? You heard that right. A child rapist was granted a full pardon. I just don't understand. The pardon meant that his record no longer contained the second conviction. Thus, the Immigration and Naturalization Service no longer had grounds to deport him. So he was detained. And then another bond was set because of his immigration status. His case went to the highest court. During the period in which Pino's deportation troubles were mounting, O'Keefe completed his sentence in Pennsylvania at the prison. He was released in 1954. Authorities early in January of 1954 to stand trial for burglary, larceny, and receiving stolen goods. O'Keefe was also confronted with a detainer filed by Massachusetts authorities. The detainer involved O'Keefe's violation of probation in connection with a conviction in 1945 for carrying concealed weapons. Ooh, they're starting to turn on each other. So here we go. When this case was continued, O'Keefe was released on $1,500 bond. During his brief stay in Boston, he was observed to contact other members of the robbery gang. He needed money for his defense against the charges that he was facing, and it was obvious that he had developed a bitter attitude towards a number of his close underworld associates. So in 1954, O'Keefe was found guilty of burglary by the state. An appeal was promptly noted and he was released on a $1,500 bond. O'Keefe immediately returned to Boston to await the results of the appeal. Within 2 months of his return, another member of the gang suffered a legal setback. Jazz Maffey was convicted on federal income tax evasion and began serving a 9-month sentence in the federal penitentiary. Underworld rumors alleged that Jazz and Henry Baker were high on O'Keefe's list because they had beaten him out of a large amount of money. If Baker heard these rumors, he did not wait around very long to see whether they were true. Soon after O'Keefe returned in March of 1954, Baker and his wife left Boston on vacation. So the gang starts to turn on each other, clearly, because of the mounting pressure on them, previous charges and now pending charges. They all needed money. 8 of them are out living the free world, while 2 of them are dealing with the legal consequences of all of their actions. And the 2 that were serving jail time become bitter over the fact that they were serving jail time and still had more charges coming out federally against them for these robberies. I mean, they really turning on each other. 2 weeks of... So, for 2 weeks, the entire gang, the FBI is watching them this entire time. They're quiet. Then, the Boston underworld rumbled with reports that an automobile had been pulled alongside O'Keefe's car in Dorchester, Massachusetts during the early morning hours of June 5th. Apparently suspicious, O'Keefe crouched low in the front seat of his car as would-be assassins fired bullets that pierced through the windshield. A second shooting incident occurred on the morning of June 14th, 1954 in Dorchester, when O'Keefe and his racketeer friend paid a visit to Baker. By this time, Baker was suffering from a bad case of nerves. Allegedly, he pulled a gun on O'Keefe. Several shots were exchanged by the 2 men, but none of the bullets found their mark. Baker fled, and the brief meeting ended. A third attempt on O'Keefe's life was made on June 6th. Here's the thing. O'Keefe is the one that served time in prison for this robbery. So he's the only one, other than the other guy, that could snitch on the other 8 guys for this robbery. So they're trying to take him out. 100%. This incident took place in Dorchester as well and involved the firing of more than 30 shots. O'Keefe was wounded in the wrist and the chest, but again, he managed to escape with his life. All of this shit just circles back around. It's like the infinity loop. On June 17th, 1954, the Boston police arrested Elmer Trigger Burke, some guy that was like a mobster, and charged him with possession of a machine gun. Subsequently, this machine gun was identified as being used in an attempt on O'Keefe's life. Burke, a professional killer, okay, it's worse, allegedly had been hired by underworld associates. He's a hitman for the mafia. Yay, what could go wrong? He just wants a hug. He was hired to kill O'Keefe. On June 16th of 1954, O'Keefe disappeared. He was later arrested and turned over to the Boston police, who held him for violating probation on carrying a gun charge. He was then sentenced to 27 months in prison. People are just going missing. This is... Damn. O'Keefe's racketeer associate, who allegedly had assisted him in holding Costa for ransom and was present during the shooting scrap between O'Keefe and Baker, disappeared on August 3rd of 1954. The missing racketeer's automobile was found near his home. However, his whereabouts still remain a mystery. Underworld figures in Boston have generally speculated that the racketeer was killed because of his association with O'Keefe. Other members of the robbery gang were also having their troubles. There was James, an armed robber specialist whose name had been mentioned in the underworld conversations concerning a score on which the gang members used binoculars to watch their intended victims count large sums of money. This guy also was convicted of armed robbery, burglary. Oh shit, they killed that guy. So the guy, y'all, this is complex. The trigger guy that was a paid hitman, he was convicted in South Carolina in 1955. He subsequently was convicted and executed in South Carolina. He had killed so many people, they executed him. Okay, here's the confession. So now we finally figure out who done this. Despite the fact that the subsequent amounts of money were being spent by the members of the robbery during 1954, in defending themselves against legal proceedings alone, that year ended without the location of any bills identifiable as part of the Brinks loot. Based on the available information, however, the FBI felt that O'Keefe's disgust was reaching the point where it was possible that he would turn against his members. From his cell in Springfield, O'Keefe wrote bitter letters to members of the Brinks gang and persisted in his demands for money. Eventually, reassigned to long years in prison or a short life on the outside, O'Keefe grew increasingly bitter towards his old associates. Through long weeks of empty promises of assistance and deliberate stalling by the gang members, he began to realize that his threats were falling on deaf ears. 2 days after Christmas in 1955, FBI agents paid another visit to O'Keefe. Here's this weirdo. Y'all, I swear to God. It's that black Jeep with the LAX tag. After a period of hostility, they began to display a friendly attitude. He was interviewed again on January 6th of 1956. O'Keefe made the final decision. He was through with Pino, Baker, McGinnis, Maffey, and the other Brinks conspirators who had turned against him. All right, he told FBI agents, what do you want to know? In a series of interviews in the next few days, he told the FBI the entire story of the Brinks robbery. So Pino was the brainchild of this operation. Before the robbery was carried out, all of the participants were well acquainted with the Brinks premises. Each of them had entered the premises on several occasions after the employees had left for the day. That's crazy. So that's how they were able to know the different floors and the layout of the building. They were just sneaking in there and just scoping it out. My belly's growling, you hear it? I need to go eat. So they did use that old truck. The truck that the FBI found in like bags and pieces or whatever, that was the truck that they used to get the money, the getaway car. It's crazy. It's talking about how they got in there and did it. It's just... So O'Keefe and Albert, who were the ones that would end up going to prison for this crime, they only got $100,000 out of all this loot. That was it. So it looks like 6 of the gang members were all indicted. There was $1.2 million in cash was still missing. That's crazy. So this has happened before, clearly. This has happened before. Surely that back then, though, it was on a bigger scale, you know, but this has happened before. Oh, yo, I gotta go to storage. I gotta go to storage. I need to go to the bathroom. I gotta twinkle. Let's go twinkle. And then I gotta drive to storage. Yeah, I hope they're able to get away with their money. That's pretty badass that they even completed that. So crazy. New pulled pork Frisco burger. Sounds like a heart attack. Y'all, I have stuff that I need to do this afternoon. I got schoolwork I need to do too, but I also got reading I need to do for school. I need to start on this week's schoolwork. I hope I get paid today. I got bills to pay. Cell phone, storage. I already went and paid that a couple of months in advance, but still, I'm going to call and pay anyways. Damn, shit moving everywhere. Y'all, I'm going to run for a little while. We'll hang out this afternoon after I get everything in order and get my day started. I needed to get up, take a shower, and put my face on, so that's what I did. That's what I did. We'll hang out in a little while. I love you guys, and pray for me, because God knows I need it, and I'm praying for y'all. And we're going to have a good Monday. It's going to be a good Monday. Happy Monday. Bye, y'all. Be safe.